Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, September 3rd. Welcome to the Inside Edge. So the summer is over, Labor Day has come and gone, and in New Jersey, that means that we are now fully in the thick of gubernatorial campaign season. Everyone in the state, or at least in state politics, is going to be very tuned in to Mike Sherrill versus Jack Ciattarelli and to races for the state assembly, to all level of state-level campaigning for the next 2 months. But the end of summer also means that Congress is back in Washington. And I wanted to take at least a brief break from state level politics to give a little bit of a preview of what to expect out of Washington over the next month or two. So the biggest immediate thing looming on the horizon is a government funding deadline that's arriving at the end of September, as it always does. And as has always happened during my 3 years in Washington, well, I should say 2 years, this is my third government funding process. We are staring down the barrel of a potential government shutdown because there is no actual funding deal in place. And a big part of the reason for that this time around is that there are internal disputes in both parties over how to move forward. For Republicans, the dispute is how partisan and conservative to make their funding bills. Should they take advantage of this current government trifecta and try to make their bills as party line Republican as they possibly can? That's maybe more the president's position. Or should they follow the more typical appropriations process that includes Democrats and includes a compromise that both parties can basically live with? That's maybe where some more moderate Republicans in Congress are at, especially in the Senate. And then for Democrats, the question is, to what extent should they be willing to compromise with Republicans at all? And to what extent should they just fight at every turn? This was a dispute that sort of plagued them back in March, when Senate Democrats ultimately did capitulate and allow Republicans to pass a stopgap funding bill. And it's going to come up again at the end of this month. Part of the reason why it's a dispute at all is because of the filibuster, and that makes Democrats powerful in the Senate and able to block bills, even though they're in the minority. So New Jersey members in both the House and the Senate have not necessarily been extremely sort of critical players in these processes in past government funding debates, but the majorities in the House and the Senate are so narrow that theoretically any member, including from New Jersey, could become sort of the star player. So that is definitely going to dominate attention here in Washington for the next several weeks. There's also a censure attempt that's coming up very soon, possibly as soon as today, against Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, stemming from the incident in May at the Delaney Hall Immigrant Detention Center. If that passes, then she would be one of only a relatively few House members in history to be censured. She would also lose her spot on the House Homeland Security Committee. And there is a dispute over releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files that is coming to a head in a number of different ways via different committees and discharge petitions and everything. I don't want to go into all the details here and now, but one person to watch on that is Congressman Jeff Van Drew. He's been sort of more willing to break with his party on this particular issue than some other Republicans. Shifting to the campaign side, I also think that even though people in New Jersey will be much more focused on the gubernatorial campaign for the next 2 months, for congressional candidates looking to win in 2026, these months sort of more behind the scenes will be really critical. This is sort of make or break time in swing districts for, can you raise the money? Can you make the connections? Can you get the endorsements before November or December, when people will shift their attention to those races? And for candidates who aren't in the races yet, I mean, there's lots of districts, especially Democratic held districts, where no challengers have even announced yet. So for candidates who have not yet launched their campaigns, this is the moment this is the do or die moment. Are they in or are they out? Because if they're in, this needs to be the moment when they start preparing their campaigns. Filing deadline isn't until March, but realistically getting in the race in March is too late. And the next few weeks / months will bring potentially some new information or even resolutions to 2 long-running and important court cases. One over whether Alina Habba is serving lawfully as acting U.S. attorney, and one over whether Congresswoman McIver committed assault against federal immigration officials at Delaney Hall. So that's a lot of stuff on the federal plate. That's a lot of stuff on New Jersey's plate. And I just wanted to put it out there for everybody to understand that even as the headlines are dominated by Mikey and Jack, there's a lot else going on too. So that's all I got. Have a great Wednesday.